Hello everyone. So my name is Damian and I'm here today to talk a little bit about Swift scripting. So let's get started. Let me start from introduction myself. So as I said, my name is Damian. I'm from Poland and I speak two languages, Polish and English. I just tried. Currently I work as an iOS developer here in Mercury. Previously, I worked as an iOS developer in Polish startup called Animite. I was also iOS freelancer, and at the beginning of my career, I was a game developer in a company called Baltor Games. Do I have to make the font a little bit bigger?
What's up with the brightness and the sound?
Huh?
So you can, it looks like I hear.
Yeah, I think that it might be a problem with that bulb actually.
Yeah, I think the bulb.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I can look at that. But
is it possible to turn
you can look on either side, so it's not the biggest problem, I guess. My suspicion is that it's the projector and not your computer, because it was a little bit dim on the other one as well.
I feel like it just got a lot different.
Yeah, it just went good.
It might also be because it kept disconnecting. Maybe that connector isn't very good.
It just got worse.
These ones.
Okay. So, wait a second.
The front screen's fine, so we'll worry about it.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
we
I
just
wouldn't
turn
use
this
that
on.
too much. Well, it will not be turned off, but you can look at that one.
Anyway, so I am really interested in iOS, of course, but also in Flutter, React Native, and PWA, and anything like cross-platform development. I'm also keen on augmented reality, IoT, yeah. And my hobby is to coding, explore Japan, riding a bike, and looking for an app idea that will make a lot of money. Yeah. Okay, so let's jump into like our main topic. So, why should I use Swift for scripting? We have so many like really good languages such as Python, Ruby, or even Bash. So why should I use Swift? Well, because it has familiar syntax. Yeah, we don't have to learn anything like new languages just for creating some simple script and struggling stuff like that. We can also use API that we are familiar with, like URL session, codable, and anything like that. It is fast and type-safe languages, which is definitely a great advantage over like Ruby or Python. And we can reuse code from our apps. For example, if we have like code which handles the URL session, and we want to achieve something similar in our script, we can just copy-paste the code and adjust it to our needs. Okay, so we know why. So what can we do with Swift scripting? So at the beginning, I wanted to say everything, but I guess it's not true. So let me point out like the most important thing in my opinion. So first, we can automate our tasks. Yeah. We can also create a command line tools. And we can create a script that will be executing during a build phase. So we can create our own linter, or I don't know, some kind of notification service, like please send me a mail when the build will finish, or something like that. Okay, demo time. I hope it will be visible. Yeah, so the easiest, okay. I will make it a little bit bigger. Oh. Is it bigger?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the easiest way to start is just create a new project. Oh, not playground project. Sorry. Yeah. And you will get something like here just printing the hello world, which is like the simplest possible example. And yeah, so we can just run it, see if it works. Yeah, it works. So, but it's not like useful. So how can we create something more useful? We can, for example, handle user inputs. But how can we handle user inputs? Let me just. So there's at least two ways of handling user inputs. First is to use command line.arguments, which is just an array of string arguments that we provide. The important thing here is to, the first argument is always the execution path, so it's quite important to remember about it. Second method is to use readline function. We just handle the user input and returns the optional string, so we need to unwrap it somehow. And now let's see how it works. So I have here a little script, a little class which just asks for the name and prints this name to the console. So let's just create and call this code. And we see what happened. Oh no, something went wrong because this is not our name. What's this wrong? Do you know what is wrong? Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, we take first argument, as I said, the first argument is always the execution path, so we need to change it. And let's try it right now. Do you think it's gonna work? What do you think? Let's check it. Oh, fatal error. Yeah, that's happened because we didn't pass any arguments here. So how can we pass these arguments? Well, we can just edit our schema, and put some arguments here. In this case, I will put my name here. And rerun it. Yeah, here you go, it works. Okay, but how can we pass this argument if you want to use our script from console? So let's check it. You just need to write Swift, the script name, which is greetings, but Swift. And now our argument, so let's use something better than my name. For example, really beautiful name, Maria. Oh.
Isn't it named that Swift?
What?
Isn't it named that Swift?
No. Yeah, it works. But it's not something useful, isn't it? It just prints the username. Yeah. So in my previous job, it often happened that my graphic designers named the files in a really wrong name. For example, they export the animation frames and they start from 1, not from 0 for some reason, or they just use a really, really weird name. So I decided to write a script in Bash to just quickly rename these things. And I thought it would be awesome, at least fun, to rewrite the script in Swift. So let's take a look. Yeah, so here's a very simple script. It just asks for a path. We read this path using readline command function. If something went wrong, we just throw a fatal error, because why not? Then we grab the instance, file manager default instance. Then we removing the white spaces from the path that user provide, and you will see why in a second. And then we are changing the current directory of file manager to this that user provides. We are getting the contents from the file using file manager content of directory function. Yeah, then we are asking the user, do you want to rename these files? And if the response contains the letter Y, we just do it. It's very simple, as you can see. And then we are asking for new pattern. And yeah, then we are creating the URL from this path that user provides, create directory enumerator which contains the URL of each file of this folder, and we of course keeping the hidden objects. Then we are unwrapping the URLs because they are optionals and sort out this array. And then using for loop, we are just renaming all these files using move item function. I hope it makes sense. Yeah, at the end we just print done. So yeah, let's try it right now. So I prepared a folder which contains really badly named files, as you can see, and just write Swift rename. Oh. Yeah, please give me the path to the folder. So we can just take and grab it. Yeah, and as you can see, there is a white space that we want to remove. That's why I put 3 white spaces. Hit enter. Do you want to rename it? Say yes. Why not? New pattern. Good. Name. And just hit enter. Yeah, and renaming happened. So it works somehow. Okay, for our next demo, I want to use URL session. Do you know what is so special about URL session? Anyone? Okay, so it's asynchronous. And how do we want to handle asynchronous thing in scripting? I mean, in script. Because scripts are executed from the top to the bottom. So if it reaches the end of file, it just ends. Scripts won't wait for like your API response or whatever asynchronous code that you wrote. So how can we handle that? Yeah. There is at least 2 ways. First is to use run loop.main.run, which just basically puts our script into endless loop mode, and we can do whatever we want. And then if you want to quit this endless loop, we just use the exit function. Second thing is to use dispatch semaphore, which is, I don't want to deep dive into dispatch semaphore because it's like quite big topic. So let's just say that we can achieve the same thing using combination of wait and signal function. Yeah, so we know how to use it, so let's try use it. Yeah. So at the this is the structs generated to just handle the JSON response, and here is our actual code. So we ask because I want to download the weather for our city that user provides. So we just ask for the city name. We use readline command. Readline function to read the city name. If everything is fine, we just go to and create a URL from this URL using OpenWeather API, and we run this URL session. If we have some data, we just go ahead and decode it. If something is wrong, so we just print it and say we use exit1 function, which basically means that something went wrong. Yeah, and everything is fine, we just print it, and we are using exit with parameter 0, which means that everything is okay. And at the end of our file, we are using run loop.main.run, which basically put this, it makes it infinite loop thing. I hope it makes sense. Yeah, let's try to use it. Yeah, provide a city, so let's say Tokyo. Yeah, and it works somehow. The weather is bad, but it works. Okay. And let's go to our last demo of today. So once upon a time I found a Swift script that it was basically a web crawler. So I decided to rewrite it and adjust it to my needs. And I will put the link to this original file at the end of the presentation. But let's take a look. Yeah. So at the beginning we have type alias for string. Yeah, we are asking the user to provide the word to search, and we are using redline function to get this word. If everything is fine, we just go and basically create another variable, constants with the same, which is basically the first one. And this is because there is a segmentation error, yeah. And this is, for some reason, if we do something like this, there is no error. I don't know why, to be honest. Yeah, then we are asking for URL, and then we are asking for URL and creating the actual URL from the string. Then we are creating a dispatch semaphore, and then we are creating the max page count is basically the count of the amount of web page that we want to visit before. Yeah, exactly. And then we have a set of URLs, which is visited pages. Pages to visit, and it starts from that we are provided. And then we have our crawl function. So if the visited page count is less than pages count, we just call this semaphore signal. We just unfreeze our code thread. Yeah. And if there is no more page to visit, we also release our thread and the script. And if visited page contains page to visit, we rerun the same function, because it means that we already have been on this page. And then we go to go to function, which is basically a URL session that download the data and create the string from this data, and then call the search function, which basically looks on this. It search for this word in the string, which is a whole website. And if we found something, we just print, hey, I found it, and grab the links from this website and just to fill out the page to visit set. Yeah. And get to links is just a function that just detects the links type in the string and return an array of this, and return the array of URL with that was found. And crawl, this is we call this function, which actually is like the beginning of our script, and we are calling semaphore wait function, which just frees our current thread. Yeah, I hope it makes sense. Okay, let's try to run it. Yeah, so maybe we can look for golden. Okay, for example, this website, which is, I believe, it's news website. Yeah, and it's looking. Yeah, and found something. So yeah, it works somehow. Okay, let's get back to our presentation. Conclusions. So we can, in my opinion, Swift can be a real alternative to languages like Ruby, Bash, or whatever, like Python languages. And it's very easy and fun to create something useful. But there's also there are also bad things about Swift scripting. Basically, the community is not so big. So, at least comparing to like Ruby community and stuff like that. And sometimes importing third-party dependency can be tough. But because of libraries like Marathon or stuff like that, it's getting easier and easier every day. Here's a bunch of useful links that I found on the internet. The last one is the original implementation of this web crawler. And yeah, it's basically the end of my presentation. Thank you. only use Ruby for like basically scrapping, web scrapping, and it was really painful for me because it's not type safe and stuff like that. So yeah. Yes, John.
I have 4 questions, and they're all about threading.
Oh, that's really
Sorry,
bad.
This is really, really cool.
Yeah.
So, do we have access to other brand central dispatch type threading in a script?
Yes, you have. I mean, as far as I know, we have all. We can use everything that Apple provides to use the script. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's part of Foundation, right?
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Is part of Foundation.
Yeah.
So you had in there the runtime loop. Is there a way to be rescued from that loop, or is that main thread now dead, and everything you have to do is in another thread or another thread?
Well, to just exit this infinite loop, yeah, I mean, to this run loop.main.run, you need to just call exit.
Okay. But that
Yeah.
exits the whole program.
Yeah, yes, but I believe there's only like one. Okay, I don't know about it.
No worries. Signal, you had signal on the semaphore. I'm assuming that's the rescue mechanism where we can continue the main thread again after that.
Yes, okay, so basically semaphore works like, it has internal counter, and when this internal counter is below 0, it frees the current thread. And if the internal counter is higher than 0, it just works. And calling signal, by calling signal, we are increasing the internal counter, +1, and calling wait, we just decrement it by -1. So we can like create a semaphore with starting value, for example, 5. So we need to call 5 times wait to just freeze the thread, stuff like that. I think that semaphores wasn't created for this particular reason. There's like other things they can do much more than this. So yeah.
Okay, and then you put a value of 0 going to the semaphore. Is that count that you just talked about?
Yeah, exactly. It basically means that if I call wait, first calling wait just frees the thread.
Awesome. And I'm assuming all of this will be online.
Okay, it could be.
I would love to know some.
Other questions? Comments?
Just a question, you're calling it Swift scripting, but it's not actually a scripting language?
Yes, Swift isn't scripting language per se, but because we can compile it on during the calling, like if you call Swift the name of your script, it will just compile it. So the naming maybe is not so accurate, but we can achieve almost the same behavior that we will achieve like calling like scripting, like real scripting language.
So you're building an executable and running it?
Yeah. Yes, when you like type swift.name, it actually compile it and then run it.
Which means every time you do it, you're compiling it and running it?
Probably yes.
But that's what PHP does too, right? PHP is compiled the first time you run it, so it's slower and then it is quicker after the fact. So it's probably similar.
Yeah, but Bash isn't going to compile it. So like that would be like a, trade-off, I guess. Or if you've got like a massive script, it's going to have like a slowdown.
Probably, but we have swing syntax and API and Apple-ish API.
Yeah, so you gotta,
Yeah, there's like, yes?
If you want to actually make the executable, you just use Swift C instead of Swift. And then you don't have to recompile it, you can just run it as an executable.
But is that a script?
But it's not a script anyway. That's the point. You're actually running an executable.
What is a script?
Yeah. Good question. Is it a program you don't need to compile?
But as soon as you compile it, I'm assuming you can run it the same way. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you don't use Swift. You just
You just say the name of the file.
if you drop it in your bin file, you can just use whatever the name of the file is and it will run.
I feel like this feels way more scriptish while I develop it out.
Yeah.
And then I can say, okay, I'm done, and it's now compiled as a mini application.
Yeah. I mean, Go works the same way. You can basically do Go run or you can Go build. Like, it'll generate an executable or just run it. So, yeah. Native code. It's good. What are you using this for currently?
For example, to automate my tasks, as I said, for example, for renaming files, but I also use it for example, there's, you can generate an asset folder using the Swift language, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, you can like put the current build like number on your icon, or like put the label with def or something like that, yeah.
Cool. Is there anything you found that's not available this way? You like it, obviously, but...
Actually, no.
Okay. Because the reason I asked that is because I was looking, for my team, we were looking at potentially having a cross-platform Swift SDK. And I noticed that like Foundation, like Dispatch, everything was available, and like URL sessions like that, which was great. But I also wonder, like, you know, what are the limitations? If, like, for example, you went and did this on Windows, like, could you run these scripts on Windows?
On Windows probably not, but on Linux for sure. But I can like look for it and just let you know what I found.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so I guess thank you everyone.
Thank you, Dan.